Lakers on the clock. Jim Gray covering out in Los Angeles. Jim, what's going on with LA?
Well, Mike, first thing that's going on is Phil Jackson is watching us in Montana right now. He was dismissed by Dr. Jerry Buss and Mitch Kupchak, the general manager, is handling the draft. They tell us Mitch Kupchak because he has scouted all year. That's not Phil's forte. He is really not familiar with the international players and the college players. He is involved in the decision, and he would be involved in any trades. This is a roster that, by Phil's assessment, has a lot of holes. It needs a lot of help. It looks like they're going to have an opportunity now. Some of these players who they didn't think were going to be there, Granger, Green, and Warwick, are available now. And at number 10, they hope to get somebody like Joe Johnson or Paul Pierce or somebody who can contribute right away, Mike.
All right, Jim, we'll be back to you during the night. Let's see what the Lakers are going to do as their time is up on the clock. And we'll go to the commissioner. Rare that we see the Lakers this early on draft night, but chance for an impact player as they retool around Kobe Bryant.
With the 10th pick in the 2005 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Andrew Bynum from St. Joseph's High School in Metuchen, New Jersey.
Andrew seated here in the house. Rare to see the Lakers draft a high school player. Remember, Charlotte took Kobe Bryant when it was the Charlotte Hornets franchise and made the trade. But Bynum, another McDonald's high school All-American. And when you think about the Lakers, you think of a couple of things. Athleticism they need, size they need. This is size.
It is size. He's 7 feet tall, almost 300 pounds, about 290. He's got a 7'4" wingspan. He's got good feet. He was headed to UConn, but had a really good game in the Jordan All-Star game. And after that, he decided he was going to be a pro after that and has been rising up the charts. And it shows you when we discussed Andrew Bogut, how difficult it is to get a quality big man in the NBA. He's risen up to number 10. Is he worthy of that? He may be over time, but it's going to take him a little bit of time to be an impact player. He's a project. He needs to learn to run the floor better, but I think he's a really solid prospect for the future, not for right now.
Yeah, he's talking about future. He may hold for the long time the youngest player ever taken in the draft. 17 years, 8 months, 2 days. He is the youngest one in draft history. Andy Katz has been following all these high school players. Andy?
That's right, Mike. He doesn't even turn 18 until October 27th. A huge sigh of relief for the Bynum family. They shut down their workouts after working out for the Lakers in Portland and having an all-NBA workout in New York City on June 4th. This family from the get-go felt comfortable that he was going in the lottery. That's why they decided to stay in the draft and not go to Connecticut where he signed. So a huge sigh of relief for the family that he goes at number 10 to the Lakers. Mike?
Yeah, UConn was his destination. And again, Jim Calhoun continuing to recruit these good players and have a decision. Remember, Charlie Villanueva looked like he might have been going to the NBA, was suspended for his first 6 games in college because of that. Jay, is this a reach at all by the Lakers at number 10?
I don't know that it's a reach. I mean, there are some players who would be of immediate help that are on the board right now, guys like Hakeem Warwick, Danny Granger. You know, I think Francisco Garcia from Louisville, who I know the Lakers were looking at as well. But this is a good pick. I don't know that it's a great pick. It'll be 3 years before we can tell.
Well, we talked about his age. There he is, a dozen days younger than Jermaine O'Neal, selected 9 years ago. And there, as we mentioned, Kobe Bryant selected by Charlotte. Draft night trade for Vlade Divac with the Lakers. But because of the age minimum coming in the new 6-year collective bargaining agreement, where a player has to be 19 at the end of the calendar year and 1 year removed from his high school graduating class, Andrew Bynum may be at the top of this list for a long time, Stuart Scott.
Mike, he went to his high school prom May 18th. Yeah. From the high school prom to the saga that is the Lakers. You've got Phil, you've got Kobe. When your name was announced, what was the first thought that ran through your mind?
Wow, man, I get to play with Kobe Bryant and be coached by Phil Jackson, the 2 most winning people in basketball. And, you know, hopefully I can go there, be an impact player, and deliver another championship.
What was the best advice that you got about turning pro right out of high school?
The best advice that I got was just turning my workouts up a lot, you know, working out really hard. I got my coach, Larry Marshall, back there to thank for that. He's been helping me work out, run on the beach, doing all sorts of things, lifting weights.
Your favorite course in high school was physics?
Yes.
Not philosophy?
No, just physics.
All right, just point of reference. Avoid ending up in a book written by your coach. All right?
All right.
Congratulations, Andy. Mike, let's back to you.
Thank you, Stu. Here's Mitch Kupchak, the GM of the Lakers, with Jim Gray in L.A. Jim.
All right, Mike, thank you. Andrew Bynum, I don't think anybody was thinking about Andrew, maybe other than you guys. Is this a pick for the future? It doesn't seem as though the youngest player ever drafted in NBA history can provide immediate help.
Well, it's very unusual that you can get a center in the draft. There just aren't that many. And with Andrew being 7 feet tall, 17 years old, he's going to be 18 this fall. And with his skill level, his athleticism, we just felt at the 10th pick, it was our best chance to get a center for the future. Certainly, we don't know how it's going to turn out, but as far as we can tell with the checks we've run and the workouts that we've attended, everything that he has leads you to believe that he could be a center down the road.
What impressed you most in what you saw?
Well, we've seen him quite a bit in the last 3 or 4 months through the high school all-star venue, the McDonald's tournament. He's lost 20 pounds, so he's dedicated himself in the last month or so. The workout that we attended, his size, he's got a 7'6" plus reach. He's pretty athletic for a big fellow. His dedication to work and to be in condition, and his skill level is pretty good too. And I think you have to factor in that he's really not even 18 years old yet.
Mitch, what was Phil Jackson's role in all of this? He's not here tonight, and we explained that to the audience a bit earlier.
Phil is completely on board, with the decision. Once again, this organization, in particular with Dr. Buss, he's not risk adverse. He encourages us to take a risk, to take a chance, to roll the dice, so to speak. And Phil is completely on board with the ability or the possibility that we might get a center down the road. Of course, we have to address our immediate need, which is to give ourselves a chance to be more competitive this season. But we just, once again, felt it was just too much of an opportunity to pass on.
We appreciate your time. We got another pick coming. Hopefully we can talk about your needs a bit later on in the draft.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Mitch. All right, back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Jim. Steven, thought on the Laker pick?
I think it was a good pick by Mitch Kupchak, thank goodness. And now Kobe Bryant, he wants to be a leader. You've got a young kid there. You can lead. Let's see you step up and do it.
Well, you talk about stability for young players. No more stable situation than to go and be taught by Phil Jackson, one of the great teachers in the game of basketball in terms of the NBA. I think this goes a long way in giving them some stability on that front line.
Next, now the Lakers have a couple of times to be heard, starting with pick 37.
With the 37th pick in the 2005 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Ronnie Turiaf from France and Gonzaga University.
Oh, that's a pick from Gonzaga.
And Turiaf is here at the Garden. Andy Katz put that on our radar earlier. Out of Gonzaga, Ronnie Turiaf. West Coast Conference Player of the Year in 2005. It's the third time we've seen a Gonzaga player taken in the last 4 years, with Dan Dickau and Blake Stepp taken over the last 3.
He's 6'10", he's long, he's athletic, he's bouncy, he can block shots, and he can score inside. He's not a polished offensive player, but he's a good and solid player. I thought he had first-round ability and perhaps could have been taken in the first round. And as Russ Granick said before, if you're here tonight, you don't want to be shaking hands with him. You'd rather go in the first round. But he does have a first-round talent, and he's a good pick for the second round. One thing he can really do, he can rebound and he can run, and that's going to serve him well.
Ronnie Turiaf from Martinique, a 15-hour flight to Miami, connect from Miami to Seattle. So this guy who comes from the French-controlled island north of Venezuela is going to end up with the Lakers.
Well, it's funny. Going into last season, I felt the biggest issue for the Lakers was their inability to defend the paint. This year in the draft, they tried to address that. And the question is whether or not these guys can have an impact right away. But this guy is a senior. He has a lot of experience. And as Jay talked about, that passion, that heart, and he can rebound for his size. Again, those are going to be critical elements as the Lakers try to revamp that roster.
I've seen him play on several occasions. I think this kid is tough. I think he's the kind of guy, Greg, he reminds me of a guy like Udonis Haslem. If you put him alongside some credible plays, he can go down there. Both. The look, the feel, everything. I mean, the bottom line is he's got that kind of energy about him. That kind of veracity. He really comes at you in very ferocious fashion. I like him.
The Orlando Magic pick next. We have fact